Today we are going to talk about the brain as a generator of consciousness. There is also another theory that the brain is a filter of consciousness or receiver. We will look at and expand on the brain as a generator of consciousness in this video. The idea of the brain as a generator of consciousness is grounded in the notion that our conscious experience, including thoughts, emotions, self-awareness, and perceptions, emerges from the brain's physical and biochemical processes. This view is dominant in mainstream neuroscience and psychology and has led to significant advancements in understanding how brain function is linked to conscious experience. Here's a deeper dive into this view. 1. Emergent property theory. 1. What it means. In this framework, consciousness is considered an emergent property. 1. Just as water emerges from the interaction of hydrogen and oxygen atoms, consciousness arises from the complex interactions of neurons and brain structures. 2. Supporting evidence. Studies show that changes in neural structure, connectivity, and activity directly correlate with changes in consciousness. 2. For instance, injuries to the prefrontal cortex can drastically alter personality and self-awareness, suggesting these aspects of consciousness are generated by specific brain regions. 3. Neural correlates of consciousness, NCC. Researchers have identified patterns of neural activity, or NCCs, that align with conscious experiences. 3. By mapping these correlations, neuroscientists aim to determine exactly how specific types of consciousness, e.g., visual awareness, emotion, correlate with brain activity. 2. Brain states and altered consciousness. 1. Sleep, drugs, and anesthesia. Consciousness isn't static. It fluctuates across different brain states. 1. During sleep, for example, specific areas of the brain reduce their activity, leading to lower levels of conscious awareness. 1. Similarly, anesthetic drugs can suppress consciousness by interrupting neural communication, lending support to the idea that brain activity is required to sustain consciousness. 2. Psychedelic states. Under psychedelics, the brain shows changes in connectivity between regions, creating hyperconnected states that correspond with altered conscious experiences. 2. This suggests that different neural configurations can generate vastly different conscious experiences. 3. The role of the neocortex and limbic system. 1. Neocortex, higher order consciousness, self-awareness, planning, language, etc. 1. Is strongly associated with the neocortex, particularly the prefrontal cortex. 1. This suggests that specific structures generate distinct aspects of consciousness, such as the sense of self or complex thought. 2. Limbic system, emotional consciousness, the ability to feel joy, sadness, fear, etc. 2. Is heavily influenced by the limbic system, including the amygdala and hippocampus. 2. Here, the brain is thought to produce emotional awareness, which contributes to overall conscious experience. 4. Mechanisms of conscious processing. 1. Neurons and synaptic activity. Consciousness is often explained in terms of neuronal firing and synaptic connections. 1. Each neuron can connect to thousands of others, creating an intricate network that allows for the processing and generation of experiences. 1. The precise timing of neuron firing has been shown to influence perceptual awareness, suggesting that consciousness depends on highly organized and synchronized neural patterns. 2. Binding problem. One challenge to the generator theory is explaining how the brain combines separate sensory inputs, sight, sound, smell, etc., into a single conscious experience. 2. Yet many scientists argue that the brain accomplishes this through synchronization across networks, especially within the thalamus and cortex, suggesting these patterns generate unified awareness. 5. Predictive processing and conscious experience. 1. Prediction models. Some neuroscientists argue that the brain doesn't just generate consciousness reactively, but predictively. 1. The predictive processing model suggests that the brain continuously makes predictions about the world and then adjusts based on sensory feedback. 1. This process generates conscious awareness as a predictive map of reality, constantly updating based on new inputs. 2. Self and agency. In this view, the brain not only creates conscious experiences of the external world, but also generates the sense of self, agency, and intentionality. 2. The brain constructs a self-model that helps individuals navigate reality, essentially generating the subjective experience of being an agent in the world. 6. Critiques and challenges. 1. Hard problem of consciousness. The primary critique of the brain as generator theory is the hard problem of consciousness, which asks how subjective experience, qualia, arises from objective neural processes. 1. While we can correlate brain activity with conscious experience, explaining why and how these processes result in inner experience remains unresolved. 2. Consciousness beyond complexity. Some critics argue that simply increasing neural complexity cannot fully account for the depth of conscious experience. 2. They suggest there may be other factors or principles involved beyond brain-generated electrical and chemical signals. 7. Philosophical and ethical implications. 1. Materialism and reductionism. This theory aligns with a materialist, reductionist view of consciousness, where all aspects of experience are reducible to brain processes. 1. This raises questions about free will, as it implies that thoughts and decisions are predetermined by brain chemistry and structure. 2. Artificial consciousness. If consciousness is solely a product of complex information processing, it implies that advanced artificial systems could, in theory, achieve consciousness. 2. However, creating machines with consciousness remains speculative, as we lack a full understanding of how the brain generates this experience. In sum, the brain as generator theory paints a picture of consciousness as an extraordinary yet purely physical process. While it has substantial empirical support, the theory also invites ongoing exploration of the brain's incredible complexity and the profound mystery of subjective experience. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.